networking event and it's an in-person event, the jitters can come and it can feel overwhelming to like go through all that. But today we are breaking down how do you network, how do you communicate appropriately? Because if you just run up to someone new, right, Miss Olga, and you're like, hey, hi, so like you're all up in their face, it's going to be really weird and awkward.
Yeah.
So what are the right ways to do it and how can we be memorable, because at the end of the day the first impression is a lasting impression and you never get a second chance to make that first impression, remembering that
Mm.
your network is your net worth. So in your opinions, how would you go about it?
All right. So, as you mentioned, your first impression is so important, and you won't get a second chance. Like trying to change that, sorry, trying to change that first impression is another journey that you'll have to take on, and it's just best if you try to put your best foot forward, present yourself the way you want to be presented. Yeah, I think it starts small. It starts with a high. It starts with being a bit humble, being very friendly, being very outgoing. You know, you mentioned if you go up to somebody and you just say, "Hi, my name is this," it's really a bit too much. They'll be like, "Oh, what's happening
Yeah,
here?" You know, we don't want to look too enthusiastic and scare people off. So a
absolutely.
balance is really good. But I've noticed that people respond best to confidence and humbleness, right? So if you are very confident, if you appear very confident, you know, you go up, you introduce yourself, "Hey, I'm Olga. I'm with this. Like I'm so happy to see you here. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Like tell me more about yourself. I would love to hear more about you." And then they're like, "Okay, this person is so confident. I love that." It gives them confidence to also trust in you, and then you add that humility aspect where you're like, okay, yeah, let's help each other out. They'll be like, this is really amazing. I love networking with this person, right? Because I know that they can help me. They're humble, even though they're so confident. You know what I mean? So it really helps to even out the playing field. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that fact that when you're introducing yourself, you're diverting the attention away from you. So the mistake that people make is thinking that when I'm networking, I'm there to talk about myself and what I am doing and what I am passionate about. Nobody is really interested in that at the very, very, very beginning,
Yeah.
and you limit your opportunity to actually build a relationship. For example, on the
Yeah.
5th of July, which is just tomorrow, we have our Investor Ready Summit, and we have a number of investors coming. And it's going to be a bit weird if you're just like, hey, I'm Dr. Lisa Tumwine, and for the past 5 years, I've been building this. You
You're gonna
know,
look like a salesman.
absolutely. We don't want to sound salesy. So, how do you do it? So, the first thing you could do is, of course, that light introduction. Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Tumwine, and I'm very happy to meet you. What brought you to this event? You notice I ended with a question. So, there are very many different kinds of questions that you can ask. It could be, what are you passionate about recently? Or
Mhm.
what have you been working on this year? So it should be some kind of open ended question that invites the other person to come in and talk more about themselves. Because the
Yeah.
people that we remember the most are the people who actually gave us the room to talk about ourselves. So you're going to be that person at the networking event that gives this person the room to talk about themselves. What other questions do you think, Miss Olga, that could, be open ended and trigger communication?
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions in mind, but I'd also really like to address that it's all about building that connection because everyone knows we're here to network, right? In most networking situations, it's already known. That's why we're there. We're there to network. We're here to build our business. Everyone already knows it. So coming in, it's more of how can I set myself up differently by building the better connection. That's who people remember you by, like remember you the most by. I had the most connection with this person. I had the best conversation with this person. Everyone there, you keep them in the back of your mind, like, okay, I saw so and so, I also saw so and so, I also saw so and so at this event. However, who stood out the most? When I have the next opportunity, who is going to come first, in my mind? Who am I going to think about first, right? So that's what we're kind of trying to
Absolutely.
emphasize, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
and getting, yeah, to talk
Mhm.
about it, it really sets the tone for connection, because that's how connection is built. We start to open up ourselves, feel more vulnerable. We feel like, okay, this person really understands me. They really want to listen to me. They really have my best interest in mind, like business wise. So I would really love to talk to that person. So making that other person feel that way, best thing for connection. Some of the questions you may ask could be, tell me more about what you're doing. Oh, why did you start this project? Who are you working with? Where are you looking to take this? Um, how is it like running the business in a day to day? Do you feel the same as you did when you started? Yeah,
Nice
those
one.
questions that can really, yeah, emphasize and make them reflect on their journey, because it shows that you're really trying to understand what they're doing, who they are, because we put so much of ourselves into these businesses. They really do become part of us. So it's
True.
like a gateway. Yeah, yeah, along the way you'll start hearing relations to their family, to their background, what they're passionate about, their hobbies. There's a way all of these things are going to start bleeding in through those questions as a gateway. So it's really a very friendly kind of connection, a very friendly kind of bantering and conversation, but it really does have those deep insights. Yeah, that's the soft power of it,
Absolutely.
really.
And that's really great because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, we want to remember. We don't remember the face, we might not remember the name, but we will definitely remember how this person made us feel. So your goal is to make this person feel something that they're going to remember you by, even after the event when you reach out again. And we'll talk about that, how to reach out. But I also wanted to talk about how do you make this person feel seen during that conversation? Your body language matters. So if
Yeah,
I'm speaking to you and you're looking down and you're looking that side and you look you look shifty and disinterested in the conversation, I'm probably not going to feel like opening up very much. I will summarize my conversation and keep it short, or if you're on your phone and you receive a call and that's what you're more interested in, I'll probably summarize the conversation and be like, yeah, that's it. But I would never really open up and have the deep connection with you. But if you show great body language, then the connection deepens. What are some of those body language cues that can show someone that you're open to connecting with them? You are happy and excited to communicate with them.
yeah. So I think before we get into the cues, it's one thing to keep in mind, the overall tone. When most people are entering a place whereby they have to take care of their body language, I've seen most people, for example, who read How to Win Friends and Influence People, like the 48 Laws of Power. Um, Sometimes they come in from this angle of, I'm going to like dominate the room, and I'm going to like
Right?
show everyone, I'm someone you have to respect. I'm going to like be the person they can't help but look at and they can't help but listen to. However,
Yeah.
that's very hard to do if you're not naturally intimidating, I think. So we need to get rid of these like dominance fights because they do happen. They really do happen. And understand that what people really respond best to is warmth, openness, hospitality, acceptance. So body language that inspires that, open palms, open shoulders, like a smile, bright,
Yes.
bright, a bright expression. Yeah, like, kind of like you're reaching out to somebody, right? Like, let's all be open and honest with each other. Let's feel safe and let's feel comfortable. That really, really helps. And it's a bit hard to do, even though, because anxiety and all of those things, because you're in a place and you don't know these people, and it could come up and you find yourself closing up. You get a bit tense, and maybe there are certain ticks everyone does. Sometimes people like hunch their shoulders, try to become smaller. I usually start doing this all of a sudden, and I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah, so being aware of those and kind of forcing yourself to, okay, keep myself open, keep myself relaxed. If I need to, I can go and take a few breaths and then come back and start working the room again. Yeah, because even when you are, signaling that, okay, I'm unsure about myself, I'm really you'll feel it too. Your body is showing it and you're feeling it too. You're not feeling confidence because you know that the other person is perceiving from your body language that you're not confident. And even though you are, whatever you're saying may be compelling, they probably will be a bit closed off because of what your body is communicating, right? People want to believe in you if you believe in yourself, right? That's one of the best signalers, because it may be really dumb what you're saying. As long as you look like you 100% believe what you're saying, they'll listen. So even when what you're saying is so valuable and you look like you're not sure about what you're saying, they won't want to listen,
Absolutely.
because they want to take, yeah, they want to take that as a signal. That's the biggest signal they're
Hmm.
taking, your confidence in yourself, whether they can also believe in it, right? So those are my key pointers with body language,
Okay.
really. What about you, Teresa? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really, really, really great. And another thing that I would add is for people also that are either huggers or handshakers. There's some people that do not love the hug. So
Mm,
if you are somebody that prefers the handshake, you have to lead the room with your hand. You come with, "Hi, good morning. I am Miss Olga," and da 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 da. But if you are a hugger, this is how you come, with open arms and open embrace. Hey, so someone knows from a distance what's coming, to avoid this awkward. Are we hugging? Are we shaking hands? So
yeah, that's a trap I fall into a lot. Yeah.
yeah, we all do. So what helps is to lead with the hand, like let the hand guide. You come straight at with, "Hi, my name is Olga." So at the end of the day, that's a bit more directed. Another thing is to maintain eye contact. I know you're shy. I know, like, you might be feeling the jitters. Breathe internally, but maintain eye contact, because the second you look down, that's just showing me you're not confident. Are you sure? Are you lying to me? Are you really in this? And of course, in our African culture, maintaining eye contact sometimes is seen as rude. But if you are networking
Yeah.
in international events, not maintaining eye contact is also seen as being shifty, and can I really trust you? Are you really confident? So it also communicates a lot. So
Yeah.
finding a balance between, if it's a very cultural, traditional event, there could be that with lots of elderly people, there could be that. But if it's really a forward event, like, as an African, you just have to be sensitive and use your African instincts and figure out.
Your African intuition.
Yes. Yes. Another thing also, like you mentioned, is having your shoulders together when you're sitting versus keeping a slight 45-degree angle. I think this is 45 degrees. So that 45-degree angle shows confidence. But imagine when someone, and also having the conversation from talking, from using your hand gestures from this point, it just, like, like, you just look not confident. So if you keep
Right.
your shoulders back, lean your arms out of your body a bit, at a 45-degree angle.
Broad gestures.
Absolutely. And then maybe set your hands, and when you're talking, you can keep a bit of gesturing to show the confidence. It doesn't have to be so much, but one or two things, and you're gesturing. That's really a confident posture.
Yeah. Dr. Lisa. Hi, everybody. Dr. Lisa must be having a few network issues, but she should be returning shortly.